manifesting generator.
Oh, that makes sense because you're so good at so many things.
But I mean, of them are landing. That is a different conversation, which we can also get into.
Amazing.
Okay, does it work? It says my internet connection is unstable, but like, is it fine?
It's fine. It says it's
Okay.
live. I
Okay.
didn't I didn't
Why did we
like
both?
joining on Instagram.
Me either, but I think it's fine.
I
I
feel
like
like
I like to self-contain in Substack as well.
I do too.
Like I'm fine with it. Hi
Look at these
guys.
people joining.
How's everyone
See, we
doing?
didn't even make an announcement
We're
and
back.
people are joining. We are back.
We're
We are
back.
back. I mean,
We've been through things.
wait, what is that? Wait a second. Do you know what I just noticed? What is that giant doll behind you?
Oh, my big mama.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
So my friend Elena, she makes these. And I had borrowed it for Asher's birth
Yeah.
and gave it to my friend Whitney for the birth of her son. And then Whitney was coming down back with it to give it to Elena. And then at the last minute, Elena was like, I don't have anywhere to put it. And then she's like, can you give it to Steph? Because she's having another baby. So like now she's like
It's
the travel
amazing.
doll, but
Look
she's
at the
really,
breasts and the nipples.
I know my whole birth, I was just like staring at those tits. I was like, we can do this, divine feminine. Let's fucking go.
It's amazing.
Carlos, I'll just show you really quick. He's really made it his,
Los. Well,
he's found the nook of all nooks.
I mean, you birthed a human at home.
I know, and I'm going to do it again.
Amazing.
It's funny because people are always like, wow, like so brave. And I'm like, honestly, like I was 10 times more scared to give birth in the hospital.
I
Like,
understand.
because of just like, I mean, I guess it's like everything, right? Like everything is like a risk assessment exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And I've become like really hyper aware of that, like since COVID in particular. Because that was like the big argument, right? Like you're putting more at risk doing this, or you're putting more at
Yeah.
risk doing. So, like, well, we're all just kind of like figuring out like, what. But for me, like people think it's scary to give birth at home because there's no like hospital. But I'm like, I'm scared of that because I don't want to be like plugged into things and in like fluorescent lights and told what to do and pressured. And like to me, all those risks felt worse to me than like having to potentially transfer.
And it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I had so much faith and confidence that it would work out that that's partially why it did. And it's funny because now I'm having another baby and I know what birth is and I'm like, oh God. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, the way I was so naive, like made me good at it. And now
Uh-huh.
that I'm naive, I'm like,
Do you think the animal will take over in you?
it does. What my birth preparation is watching hundreds of videos of animals giving birth.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's like the only way that I can like make it make sense.
Do you know, I didn't know this, but dogs are born in tiny sacs and then the mother has to lick, like they're born in their placenta and the mother has to lick them and set them free. And if it doesn't happen in like a couple minutes, they will suffocate to death. I
Oh
didn't
my
know
God,
that.
that's
So that's
crazy.
why the birth takes so long because it takes like, I think about 40 minutes for each pup to tell me if I'm wrong. Someone tell me to birth. And then they have to like the process of licking them free of their placenta.
I could see you moving into a phase where you're like holding space for dog birth.
I really, by the way, I'm like getting closer to wanting like a cows, because cows have best friends and like dairy cows. And all cows have best friends, but I'm saying that I would want like cows and like goats and like I'm feeling more and more wanting to nest and be home and like more and more me and my animals. Like I'm like maybe that's just my journey.
And like
I
Daniel,
wonder.
the hard labor.
But I feel like I'm like moving more and more into chop wood, carry water. Like there's something that's so purposeful to me about that. Like if you would have told me, I mean, I know I say this all the time, it's so annoying, but like that I was a city kid. Like, but I really think there's something, I don't know.
I
Like,
said it the other day, I was like, I used to think I was a city cat and I'm totally a country mouse.
but I think that's maybe our natural state. And then if you're conditioned out of it or you think you need all that stimulation, but like we had been getting raw milk from this place. And then for some reason, we stopped getting the emails, and then we've been just doing A2 milk. But then, I go to this workout class, and one of the women that I work out with, she's like, "Oh, we have a dairy cow. If you want to come over and pick up milk." And I was like, I kind of want to learn how to milk the cat. Can I come over and actually have that experience?
Yeah.
I kind of want that experience.
Homesteading Instagram accounts, and I'm like, they're my celebrities. I'm like obsessed
Farmers
with
are
that.
the new celebrities.
Yeah. I'm
But
like,
there's just something so like grounding about animals, like being away. Like it's getting harder and harder. Honestly, if I had a kid, I'd be a nightmare. Like I couldn't ever leave it for a second. We went,
oh, it's
went to
thing in the world to leave your child.
like
Like it's
I don't know how
demented.
to do it. Because I see, like, even with my dogs, like, I feel like I sleep differently when I'm away from them, and I feel like it's like I was actually thinking about how when I was a kid, when I was younger, I was a total homebody. Did not have wanderlust. I wanted to read. I wanted to go to the theater. I wanted to watch movies. I wanted to be home. I was not a social butterfly. I was not, and like I almost like stretched myself so far in this other direction. I developed this wanderlust. I developed it, but now it's like I'm boomeranging back to
Mm.
my poor self, which makes me think of this Aries full moon. If we want to transition,
Well, as you were saying that, I was like, it kind of sounds like that's just like what's kind of in the air. Like, because I feel like
yeah.
that the way that I would describe it is that it's, and I don't know if it has to do with turning 40, but maybe not. Maybe it's just,
Hmm.
and you 45, which is another significant kind of like
Yeah.
energetic pivot. But I think there's like, it's almost like, okay, let's go back on a journey before we go into the future. So, like, I was writing about this and I was like, what even was like the end of 2019? Like, I couldn't even like remember
Yeah.
because like went fucking in this crazy direction. And it's like I have memories of it, but I couldn't like I was looking at photos, videos of that time. And it's almost like everything up until 2020 was like us building the person that we like thought we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
ambition and in very much like I hate to say these types of words, but like in very much like matrix oriented reality.
Hmm.
The you don't want to call it the matrix, just call it the system. Like,
Yeah.
it's the track of
Yeah.
high school, college, job. Like we followed this trajectory and all of our dreams and everything were based on, even if we were like you and I, which we were kind of rogue for our families,
Yes.
we still tried to take like a linear approach inside of being different
Yes.
types of people. And then the world stopped. And like I was looking at these videos of me in 2019, and I was like, wow, like she was so like didn't know anything. Like she just like she didn't know
Uh huh.
anything. Like, but she was
Yeah.
happy, and that's cool for her. But like but the point is that then we went into this like portal, a spiral of just so much intense change, internal and external, forced change, good change, hard change, all the
Mhm.
things. And I feel like at the beginning of this year, I was kind of saying, like, this year is feeling like 2020, but like on high.
Well, it's
Like,
like I just said to you before we got on that it's like
yeah,
instead of externally forced upon, you know, homesteading, it's like internally like, but there's this kind of mirroring on other side of it.
and it's coming from within. So that's kind of
Yeah.
what I was saying is like
Yeah.
the trajectory now moving forward after maybe it's this full moon is great timing or just in general this energetic period. I definitely feel like the Pisces eclipse thing that we just went through was such a thing of like tearing apart every last piece of me that was trying to hold on to the old and
Hmm.
also revealing like there's stuff that I have access to that I haven't healed yet that I never even knew was there before now. I'm like,
With you felt that with the Pisces full
the
moon
pipe
and then the Virgo
was like bringing it
eclipse.
to, and
Uh-huh.
now I'm like, and now I have to like integrate you and deal with you and like do
Uh-huh.
something. But now we're moving into a place of who are we being outside of a system that has told us to be a certain type of person.
Yeah. And
The
also, yes.
core of like what our soul kind of like wants, how it wants to land in this. There's no like accepted, understood, agreed upon reality right now.
No, and I think, you know what? I think that's actually been truer for a longer time. I think we're just seeing it. For example, I remember like when was Mad Men like the biggest show? 2010?
Ugh, what a time.
One time. But I think right. So if you I remember even thinking during that the height of that show, and people would say, in LA, in New York, everybody's watching it. And I remember thinking, aren't 10 million people watching it? There's 330 million people in this country. There are all of these like other subsets of culture. I think that you we lived in a bubble and we're
Yeah,
less aware of all of these other subcultures that were happening simultaneously. They just didn't have the elite prestige attached to them. And so I think that it's like it's blown social media. What social media has done is it's blown open the idea of this is the only way forward, right? It's like there's this subculture, there's all these different lifestyles that have become more apparent, and like it's also flooded the airwaves or whatever you want to call it, with bullshit and, you know, all kinds of nasty shit, but it's also exposed us, right? There used to be, I mean, obviously, when television first came out, it was like Walter Cronkite. This is one narrative. I'm not just talking politically. It's like we're all, and then there was the kind of breakdown of that. And then it was like the two sides, but now it's like, it's all wide open. And I think culturally, that's interesting to me. It's like even in the music industry, it's like I remember talking to Daniel who grew up, he grew up in a religious household and he didn't watch or listen to mainstream. And so he has like all this awareness of this like these like Christian bands and subculture of like that I didn't even know was like a thing, but they have millions and millions like they
right.
followers and listeners. Like that's only one subculture. How many other? And so I think is what I'm saying, making, I think the dissemination and the kind of like splintering of all these different, we're aware of them in a way that we hadn't been.
I definitely agree with that, but I also just think that the literal fabric of what made our society more cohesive, like systems that
Yes, that true. Yes.
work,
Yes.
even though they didn't work for everybody and it was all always a fucking illusion, I feel like the veil, the mask of society and just the functionality of things has shifted so dramatically that that's also forced. It's what you're saying, that I think what you're saying is like the tool by which we are become aware, but I think the base of it really is just that what was is no more.
Yes.
It has proven, so much has proven to be needing. It's not like tear it all down and start over again. I'm not like a fucking like I'm not like a burn the house
Anarchist.
person anarchist, but I am like this a lot of this shit, it needs reworking, and you can't just rework a system if you don't rework yourself. If you try to
Well,
change the
that's
system
the oldest thing.
through your own attachment to the old system, you're never gonna change it.
But I also think there is this, I was actually thinking about this. It seems that there is a lot of envy and rage.
Mhm.
Um, and with that, in some ways, has come a denigration of excellence and the pursuit of excellence,
Mhm.
which I still think matters,
Mhm.
right? It's like you, meaning if someone is really excellent at their craft, right? That is something to aspire to. I'm not talking about like the assets gained from it, the financial. I'm just saying like the pursuit of an excellence of, and it feels like there is so much schadenfreude, anger, envy at because people feel stifled or feel blocked, and then it becomes outrage and rage. But I think the deeper thing is people don't feel like they can move forward in their lives. And
Mhm.
it becomes blaming the system, blaming everything else. And that is that's where we have, I think, like mass grievance. And I think that's very Piscean, right? Like victim conscious, the shadow of Pisces. It's like victim consciousness and woe is me. And, cynicism and romanticism are two sides of the same coin, and they're both Piscean. And it feels like this last gasp of Neptune, which is completing Neptune and Saturn, Neptune taking 165 years, Saturn taking 28 years, meeting up in Pisces before they're retrograding, but before they move into Aries, which is like, this is what you got. What are you going to do? Like for your personal life, how are you going to have agency and how are you going to have discipline?
That energy is like, I feel like I always feel the astrology before it happens. Shannon, that she's like, you always
Yeah,
like feel it.
you
I'm
always
like,
have.
it's weird, but that is literally the words that are going through my body right now. And I think
Yeah.
I even put about this last week. It's like, okay, well, what are you going to do about it? Like, what's your inspired action? And
Yes.
something that one of my healers taught me years ago, which I always have sat with and tell people. And, I think when I first said it, people were kind of like, it's kind of insensitive, but it's true. It's no victims, only volunteers. And it's like, even if
That's
something,
going to come more into vogue, as is like heroism, like true heroism. Like, you know, yeah, anyway, continue.
no, it's just that, like, yes, you can have horrible things happen to you. And like, there are things that victimize you, but you don't stay the victim forever. At some point, you become the active participant in the victim narrative.
But I think for some people, they've been told and believe that being a victim feels good. I can't think of any, like, if someone pities me, I'm like, get the F away from me. Like,
Oh,
I am like, I want to feel strong. I want to feel capable. I want to feel like I have endurance and that I can navigate difficult moments. And I want to feel like I have some agency. And even in moments when it feels like I don't, I do feel like choice, even the choice of perspective. It's very like Viktor Frankl. But I think that's that I think is going to come more into vogue. And this Aries full moon, right? Mercury is just moving into Scorpio, and there's this kind of um strength. And I hope we see, you know, I'd like to see a return of the classic hero. Like, I'd like to see a return of people, feeling into their own capability and strength. I just think I'm a victim, the system I have no agency, the system has. I don't know how that makes anyone feel empowered or good.
but that's literally like, this is going into my conspiracy side, which like we know we love. I'm just like,
Well,
I decided I'm labeling myself conspiracy curious because
something.
I don't fully believe any of
Yeah.
these things. Like, I see how a lot of them are possible, but this one I do think it sounds conspiracy, but I think it's just fact in actual fact. The victim mentality serves what the big government wants us to move into now, which is like way more control, right? Like,
Right. But let's say things are energetic. It's like, this is a more philosophical question. Let's say that's true, and let's say it does, right? Are those who are architecting that or enabling that, is the energy just working through them? I'm not saying that they're not responsible, but is like, meaning with all this Piscean energy, and like if we go back all the way to 2016 with the Saturn Neptune square, we've been in this Neptunian fog, this victim kind of consciousness. It's like maybe that is the pendulum swinging.
right, because it happens throughout history, like time and time again.
Yeah,
But I think that like I kind of, and maybe this is me just living in this time. So I'm like, no, our consciousness is expanded.
I
But
don't
like,
think that's true. I think that's Pollyanna. I really do. I think I th- I have a much more base view of human nature.
mm, I think that we can choose to opt in or opt out based on our awareness.
But how many people actually do that? Look at the collective right
Well,
now. I think that.
They say like only 5% of people are like people that actually think for themselves.
Right, but like if you take Ram Dass, right, Ram Dass, like you think that you're enlightened, go home for Thanksgiving. It's like people who want to fix the world's entire problem and think they understand the world, but like don't get along with their own family members
Right.
or can't.
No, I'm talking about like the pressure of control and the feeling of victim narrative is some and the way that that can siphon us into a situation of being controlled even more by like
Yes, yes.
systems
And
that
this thing that we're talking into, right? And
yeah,
the manipulation of that to a certain effect. But like, I honestly, it's not any different from the invention of the printing press when people first started reading and they didn't have critical thinking. They read it, so they're like, it's true. And all
Mhm.
kinds of conspiracy pamphlets moved about. I mean, what I'm saying is that
Of the
the
idea of conspiracy pamphlet, by the way.
right.
Like bring those back.
But what I'm saying is like the vehicle is potentially more powerful, but the human nature, which is, you know, you're going to always have individuals who manipulate a system, individuals who are greedy,
Yeah.
individuals who don't think for the better good. Like, I am not Pollyanna in any way about human nature.
Yeah.
I think you have the best human beings, I believe, mostly fly under the radar. They're people you've never heard of.
Yeah.
You know, they're nurses or they're, you know, they're they're part of society in ways and they are angelic in their helping of fellow human beings or animals or but but less fanfare. I tend
Mhm.
to be very old school in my but I think human nature is it that's the power of religion, right? Like new age spirituality doesn't put as much of a emphasis on moral accountability as,
Mhm.
for example, religion does, which is like it's like there is consequence to our own selfishness, our own greed, our own which we all have. Anybody that claims they're above all of that and they're anybody who's like I'm a better person than other people, I'm like running in the other direction.
I want to start a workshop that's titled Owning Your Inner Cunt.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
And
It's
it's
like
all better people.
yeah, like I met with so there's like a major congressional race happening here. The vote is tomorrow because our congressman retired early. So I met with someone running and he said, you know, I'm just like a regular guy, business guy, and I want to do good. And I said, well, DC changes people. And he goes, DC isn't going to change me. And I was like, actually, that makes me not want to vote for you. If you had said, I recognize that people get changed and this is what I'm going to do in order to work with myself. Here is my accountability. I have a wife who keeps me honest. I have a religious whatever. But the fact that he was like, I'm not going to change. I was like, oh, you're almost too naive because you're
Right.
going to the belly of the beast. You've never been in politics before. And you think, and this guy did not have a big fight in him. You know, he
Mhm.
just didn't have that energy.
Like
And it
you have
made
backbone and you're a pussy and you have no
like,
spiritual breath.
but like it made me not trust him more. It made me trust him less because it's like if he had said, yeah, I know because I've been in business and I see how that happens. But just it's not going to change me. You're in your mid 40s. You're that certain.
Yeah, you're also going to change a lot, period, no matter where you go.
Exactly. But that's what I'm saying. It's like that thing where it's like, oh, I am Rosie and I think myself above it all. Everyone thinks they're above it all until they're in a certain situation where they're up against something.
Yeah.
And that's what I think that's the like Saturn, Neptune in Aries. It's like, who are you? Who are you? Like,
Mhm.
at your core, and how do you handle genuine challenge?
I also like want to go back to something that you said, which I think is it could be a whole other side conversation, but just this difference in new age spirituality and traditional religious structure.
Mhm.
It's very interesting to me that there's like there, and I think you are someone that said this very early on that there would be
A
the
resurgence. Yeah.
a new
Yeah.
religion
Yeah.
war, whatever.
Yeah. A religious revival.
We can talk about that for a second, but what I really think is fascinating is what you said about how new age spirituality doesn't necessarily hold us accountable in a certain regard.
It
Like,
does. It doesn't. Not kind of. It doesn't. It feed a lot of it feeds the ego.
feed
If you just do
ego.
this, you get whatever you want.
Yeah, and I think because as you said that I was just sort of going internal, and I'm like, well, what is my internal uh, modulating
Hmm.
kind of mechanism that holds me accountable and makes sure that like
Yeah.
I don't to that side. And I think that for me comes down to like, yeah, how I was raised. I was raised not only with multiple different religions, but just with parents who placed emphasis on certain values, such
Right.
as ability being a big one. Like
Yeah.
anytime disciplined as a child, it all had to do with accountability.
Yes. So that, but your
But my dad
parents,
is extremely Catholic, so it kind of makes sense that
right?
like he put, even though it wasn't in the Catholic framework, he that is how he held space for our kind of moral compass.
Yes. I mean, it's a deeper question of like, this is going back to human nature. Like, good humans can be manipulated into doing terrible things. There's that experiment that was done in the 70s with the buzzer,
Yeah,
right? It's like, this is what I'm saying. If you think you're above it all, if we think we're above it all, it's like, it's not looking that we all have light and shadow within ourselves. And his framework, like your parents' framework, came from somewhere.
yeah,
And they, so even if it's not, even if there wasn't an overt religiosity to it, their moral framework
yeah,
came from somewhere. And
yeah.
the what the Piscean kind of new age spirituality is like, it's very Piscean because it's like, no, I've also been thinking about this. I may get so much flack for this, but if I think the fear of having to play it out karmically in the next life isn't held as seriously as having to play out judgment immediately after death. I think people think
Right, 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 right,
if
right.
they're just like, oh, in the next life I'll work it out. I don't think a lot of people actually believe that. Meaning I don't think it's a moral I don't think there's I don't think people feel a lot of people who say that feel there's going to be real consequence.
Right. Maybe it's just because I'm so heavily scorpionic that like the idea of not working through the karma in this lifetime feels so much more torturous than actually just rolling up my sleeves and fucking doing the work. Because I know that my life is a spiral, and if I don't work through things now, it's always going to come back to get me.
Right. But I think that you could say it's scorpionic, but I'm also going to say that's actually your parents instilling
Right.
values in you.
Oh, my dad was also a Scorpio. My mom had Venus in Scorpio. So there's a lot of Scorpios.
Yeah. But I think there's something, I just been thinking about that a lot. It's like, if you, and also
Like,
so
you can
much
put
of what,
power fear into the hands of the judgment of God more than you can put the power and the fear into the judgment of your own journey of karma throughout lifetimes.
right. I mean, listen, I went to a school and got a master's in spiritual psychology and studied a new age perspective for 3 years. And my problem with it, my issue with it always was the concept of God consciousness, it's like, no, I'm the problem. So you're saying I can just forgive myself? But
Right.
like, how easy is that for me to manipulate and say, well, and then we get into moral relativism. And then it's like, I'm just saying, if you pan back and you look at a culture at large, that feels like part of the mess we're in. It's like everybody's a victim, and then everybody can just say, no, I'm good. I'm good. Which, and I'm not saying that religiosity can't be manipulated in horrible ways, and it has. I'm saying that the pendulum was always going to swing because it was never going to feel like enough. And also, it was the rubber was going to hit the road. So enough people were going to be doing this spiritual work and not getting everything that they wanted and going,
That's not
oh,
what it's about.
I know it's not what it's about, but it's what it's sold it's about.
Well, that's
Once
because
Oprah
we're trying to
moved,
modify our soul.
right. But once Oprah
And when
moved
you
from
that
like,
attempt.
right. But like once Oprah moved from like genuine Super Soul Sunday inquiry, like where it's genuine exploration to like, I'm going to give you a free car, but also not going to pay the taxes that you're going to owe on this car. So you might go bankrupt if you keep it. You know, like it's like that commodification and that like the law of attraction around consumerism and stuff and this like enough people were going to hit a wall around, oh, I can't just do vision boards and get whatever I want. I know that sounds ridiculous, but and it was going to be like, wait a second, now I feel just empty and icky.
If you get whatever you want, you're still missing the fucking point.
Right. And I feel like that's the thing. I was going to put something on like Instagram where I was like, listen, I'm not the person to work with that's going to say you're going to get everything you want because I haven't gotten. I'm in my mid 40s and but I feel deeply fulfilled by my life and I have learned to work with the things that I thought I'd always have that I didn't get. And that has been part of my spiritual discipline. And that's some people, then I heard this saying, which is like, someone told me, which like blew my mind, which is like, the devil will give some people everything they want so they never need to know faith. And I was like, whoa.
That's
Right?
really
Yeah. So I think that there is something, I mean, my best friend from college who grew up Catholic, and when I met her in college, we were roommates. She was like, I don't believe in God. I'm da da da. And like, we used to argue about it in college because I did believe in God. And she texted me the other day and she's like, I think I want to go to church. Like, but
this world is so fucked up. Please send me to church.
but I've been hearing that from like a bunch of people who are like, why all of a sudden do I feel called to like, I mean, this is someone like, you know, she's a, she's very talented artist, lives in New York City or lives outside of New York City, but works in New York. And like the last person I would have thought I would get that text from. I mean, she's one of my best friends. I've known her for 20 something years. But like, that's what I'm saying. She's like, she's like, I'm starting to really understand that faith is not, she's like, my friend's child I just found out that one of my close friends' children has cancer. And I used to think, oh, God isn't real because then that wouldn't happen. But she's like, I'm understanding faith in a different way. These are the kind of texts that I'm getting from people that I've known forever. And it's not, what I'm saying is that there's a need for something deeper versus just the fulfillment of my desires.
It's interesting because I feel like it's for two reasons. Like, one is like what we were talking about earlier, which was like the people and the things that we put in the place of God are now clearly so fucked. So,
There's an
like,
amazing book about this written by a pastor called Seculosity. It was written
okay,
like 5 or 6 years ago. He's younger than both of us, I think. And he writes about this. We've turned everything into a religion.
yeah.
I'm like,
And so there's that. But then I also think that it has to do with that as well, which is maybe it's energetic, like you said, maybe it's something moving through us, maybe it's something calling us to like a higher connection or
"Hmm,
something. I think it's that humans want to be able to we're pattern recognizers. We want to
Yes.
make things. We want to
Yes.
connect it to things,
Yes.
and we want to feel safe.
Yes.
And so, you know, that is the draw of a religious slash spiritual life as well. And I think
Yes. Yes.
that we have lost in the fall of the illusion of what we had before, that leaves this space where that can fill.
Yes, 100%. And I think that that is, it's just going to be, there are a lot of people and a lot of people around whom I was raised that are in denial about the sea change happening.
Yeah, they can just take more pills and live their life.
But or think that more stuff or more vacations or whatever is going to fill it, right? But this is what is happening in the collective. Like, you can shoot the messenger, but there is a sea change happening, and
I mean,
it's
like I was watching 10 Things I Hate About You. And because like I'm
that's
also,
I love.
I don't know if you feel like this, but I feel like I only want to watch like old things like pre 9/11.
Yes. I've been going back and watching. Oh, I watched Rudy because I put out a thing of what movies make you cry. And a bunch of people said Rudy. I watched Rudy on the plane. Like, I'm watching all the movies from the 80s and
Me
90s,
too. I'm like, I just
early
want to watch
2000s.
things before the world was like whatever this is.
100%. Yes.
But although I am watching Black Rabbit, which is a side note, but
Oh, should I watch it? It's on my
yeah,
list. Okay.
you'll like but but I was watching and the commercials were coming on because it was like, I don't know, on my Amazon or something, and like every other commercial was a pill commercial. And it was like most antidepressant. This one is what like set me over the edge. It was like most antidepressants. Like I still feel sad. I still feel disconnected. I still feel lonely. And I'm just like, you are describing the human condition. Like, that is not abnormal. You do not have a clinical diagnosis because you feel kind of melancholy. And then it's like, so that's why I added whatever, this other pill. And then it's like, you can take this with your antidepressant and you'll go through more days not feeling sad at all. And I'm just like,
It's the Truman
it's
Show.
a problem. Like, we don't want to feel, we don't want to process, we don't
Mhm.
want surrender to the fact that we have these uncomfortable feelings are meant to guide us to new places of happiness over time. You hit these walls.
Fulfillment. I don't know
Fulfill-
about happiness.
Maybe not happiness.
Fulfillment.
Word fulfillment,
Yeah.
contentment,
Yeah.
acceptance. There's a thousand words that
Yes.
don't. Happiness is, you're right. It's a very elusive kind of thing that happens in bursts. I don't know if anyone's happy 100 at a time. And to sell that idea is probably the flaw of the whole thing.
Yeah.
But just it plays into everything that we're talking about, where it's just like you have to go through those dark times. You have to feel the feeling of feeling faithless, of feeling confused,
Yes.
of lost in order to find your footing, yourself, your community, your purpose. You have to, like, these are normal things to go through. And like, we just try to put everything in this like pause, this contained liminal space of happy, whatever the fuck that means, but you're not fulfilled. You're just, at this point, you're just getting through. I know what it feels like to be on those pills. I've been on them. It's a
Yeah.
numb kind
But
it's a numb
I think
existence.
that's also right. Th- th- that thing of like, I should be happy. I think that actually increases anxiety
It does.
because it's a false, it's a just, it's setting up a false reality. And it's like,
Like
I,
the expect
yeah, expectation hangover, which is like, instead of, yeah, I mean, we're dynamic beings. Some days are going to be better than other days in a long-term relationship. Some days, some months, some years are better than other years. It's like there's it's it's not just supposed to like feed this hungry ghost within us, which is like, if I just do this, if I just swipe and this person fits the bill of exactly what I want, it's like, I don't know. It makes me really sad because there's an underlying emptiness to it.
I
And
think it
listen,
also, like how we become like consumers. Like just
Mhm.
as I'm like the biggest antidote to depression is creation, in my opinion.
Exactly, exactly, and that's the thing is we're if the balance is off, if we're consuming more than we're creating, then we are going to fail, and that doesn't have to mean art in a traditional sense. It can show up in a million different ways, but what
Well,
is the output?
I mean, I think going for a nature walk can be an act of creation.
Yeah, yes, and, like, there's a million ways to do it that don't involve, Canva.
Yeah, it's not the only way, guys.
Right, though? It's like
That's so funny.
it's so it's so true. But, like, going back to your point, like, we're both in this and I think other people are too, were like, you just wanna watch older movies because they weren't made in a boardroom. They were made with, like, human beings who
Yeah.
were connected to all of these things, and, like, it's just but I the pendulum has swung, and it's gonna continue to swing, and I think some people are gonna have a really hard time with it because never promised you a rose garden, you know? And it's gonna be interesting to witness how people navigate it.
Well, I think the question of what are you creating
Mhm.
is new framework. Like I think
Yeah.
we about the full moon right now is kind of a cool transition because it's like, yeah, like what are you creating in a space where you're not promised anything
Yeah,
and you're
what
not
are you building for its own sake? I
yeah,
think that's, like, for the enjoyment and creation for its own sake. I mean, part of the reason, like, I love Substack is that and I can see it changing too, but, like, I'm allergic to anybody who posts, like, "Do these 6 things to grow your Substack." I mean, you see how organically we're doing like, I just that energy just feels the list, the to-dos, that instead of, "Hey, I'm a human being, this is what I'm experiencing or feeling," or "This is my journalistic perspective on this," or "This is my" like, I I
I mean
do think I think
well known
we are
before
returning.
sorry, what?
I
What'd you
think
say?
we are returning to some level of, um, humanness as a reaction formation to AI.
100%. And I think that like, look, if AI is a tool that we could use, then cool, it's like any other tool. But it can also be like a crutch and it can be
It's a
chin.
flatterer.
Yeah, oh my god, I know. It's like, wow, you whenever I'm like, "Tell me about myself, what you know about me." It's like, "You are a star." And I'm like, I know." No, no, but I'm just what I was
Yeah.
gonna say before is that, like, we obviously, like, pre-algorithm, pre-AI, pre-social media, pre all that, like, people became known before anyone was telling them a formula to become known. Like, one of my favorite memes, like, and by the way, placing all value on being known is also a huge fucking problem.
Was Van Gogh known in his own lifetime? Was like, I mean, it's like,
Or Kobe meme, and it's like, imagine telling this guy he needed to like fit the algorithm. It's like, it's a joke.
oh, yeah, Kurt Cobain. Right, right, exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen that meme. It's ridiculous. It's so
And like,
stupid.
not everything needs to be witnessed. Like this is my issue with social media is like, and this is something I was realizing when I was watching when I was going old photos and videos from 2019. I'm like, I used to use social media in such an innocent and fun way. Like
Most people did.
as
It was like, here's
well,
this flower.
yeah, and also just like I'm like, here's this crazy story,
Mm.
and just like a tool
Yeah.
of my expression as a comedian. Like that's what I was using it for. And then it became like well, first it became weird cancel culture nonsense.
Mm.
But then right after that wave, it was like now you have to do X, Y, and Z to like be seen. And like to me, like the awareness of the desire to be seen makes me be like, ick.
Yeah, I'm
I'm like,
wired the same way. I'm like, no, I just want to.
for expression, not for attention, which is a very, I know it's a fine line, but it makes a big difference internally.
A huge difference. I had someone say to me the other day, they were like, "You never like you like never post photos of yourself, or you like and you are well, they knew I was still with Daniel because we were all together. But they're like, "You never post photos of I'm like, "Because I'm actually a really private person, and I when I share a restaurant, it's because I want it to stay open because I think it's a great addition to Nashville, not because I'm like see and be seen or because like or because it's like, "Oh, if you're in town, you should come." But I'm actually really a very private person, and I'm not comfortable exploiting my life. And my parents
It's
are
not
really
your
like I've
life,
just been raised.
your brand.
No, I'm not a brand. I'm a human, and I happen to my work
There's
tends to be therapeutic but I'm not. I'm not selling my lifestyle. I'm here. What is showing up for you, and like I'm not selling, this is my lifestyle, so you should work with me so you have what I have. No, because what my life is not your life or your like that's I don't want to create that kind of
that's literally
work.
a coach on Instagram right now, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, but someone I listen, I don't feel drawn to living in New York City right now, but that doesn't mean that I work with a client and think they shouldn't be living there. Like
Right.
it's I have a different life. I have a different context. I have a different astrological chart. I have a different like why would I ever think that anyone's life or any client of mine should be like mine? That's not my job.
Fucking weird.
I know, but that is what is like like before this, would someone go see a therapist and be like, what's your home life like? Can I I need to know what's going on with you. Where do you eat? What do
Although,
you eat in
did
order
I?
for me to work with you?
Yeah.
What is your house? What is the design of your house? Because I need to see that before I work with you.
What tax bracket are you in?
Exactly.
Wait, did I
Exactly.
have a
But
therapist?
it's so interesting to me that that's become a thing because I feel like if that is what I'm selling is air. What my work is the ability to read beneath in between the lines, to listen beneath the words and to help my clients see themselves and reflect themselves back with the tool of astrology, with the tool of my, facilitation degree, with the but like I don't know. I've never understood that. Like I, selling my life.
Well, it's also like I also just get annoyed. Like I just get annoyed that people like. Okay, one of my favorite things to do is like go to a new place and like shop. Right, like
Yeah,
I'm not going to the mall, and I hate
you're going to the
online.
Birkenstock store.
Once in a while, I go to the Birkenstock store,
She
but
does works.
gotta try shoes on. That's my
Yeah,
one thing.
yeah, you do.
But like, actually, I gotta try everything on. But like I'm saying, like I'll go to like random stores and like find like a quirky pair of glasses or
Mhm,
something and wear them, and then people are like, "Where'd you get those?" And it's like, okay, I think it's sweet that like my style, people think it's cool, but at the
mhm.
same time, like knee jerk reaction is like in life, like I went outside, like I don't know, like do the same thing, like how
But Steph, you were ahead of the curve on graphic tees. People are always going to.
doing graphic tees since I was like 10.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I remember. I listen, but I
No,
think that's it. Yeah, it's like
it's everything just like try it's like a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a
you
copy of
do
a
you. What happened
yeah,
to that? You do
go
you.
go get weird in the world and you'll find some cool shit.
Yeah. I just like it's so I don't know. Maybe that's also Saturn and Aries, right? Saturn puts restriction on. So like Aries is the self. It's like it's not all about the self. It's not
Well, because we are moving also into like more of a collective orientation, I think, where it's like yourself isn't just to serve yourself, it's to serve like, okay, this is what I've been interfacing with. I'll use a personal anecdote. Like in the framework of um Vedic astrology, I have
Mhm,
Aries,
mhm.
which I actually really resonate with
Yeah.
because I feel really struggle
Mhm.
with part of myself, which is put myself forth and and prioritize that, right? I've been kind of interfacing with like what that struggle is and how, and I think the answer and kind of what you're saying is using yourself, your gifts, your curiosity, your passion, your
Yes.
ideas, your energy, your impulses, whatever, to be and of service is such a kind of annoying way to say it, but what I mean is like trusting that your unique expression of self and your offering isn't just to serve you, but it's to serve others as well. And
Well,
like it being a
that's
fabric
Pisces. Yes.
thread in the fabric of the blanket of the thing that we're all creating together.
Yes, but I think that's I mean, that's Virgo Pisces, right? Serve or suffer access. I mean, I think that there is something, we've talked about this offline. Like I did a ton of community service growing up and into my mid 30s and then haven't been doing it as much and I feel really called to go back and you know, I'm not even talking about like using my skills, though I may do that too, but I'm talking about like food pantry stuff. And I found an organization, which I'm happy about. That's very local to me.
Love that.
But, but like, I just am not going to post about it on Instagram. It's just going to be my life. But I think that there is something I really remember how fulfilling that was as a I started young as a kid and into my mid 30s in LA. And that's okay. Like I needed to focus on other things. But now that I'm like settled here, I feel called. And it's like there's different ways to serve. Like
Mm,
and there's it's like but I think that much of what we see as service isn't actually it's not
mm,
actually humbling oneself, right? It's not actually like doing something that feels not just like fun and all about like I think that there's something yeah with this like promise of like everything like I remember years ago I worked with a business coach and it was all about making more money and I'm like I don't I don't really think I got into this work to make a ton of money, like to
right.
support myself. But I, I actually like, I had the educational background to like, I could have gone the path of becoming a lawyer or gone into finance or something like that. If money was my objective, I would
Yeah.
have pursued that.
Yeah.
And that's not the other where I'm supposed to just like live in poverty. I'm not like, I support myself and I'm very grateful for that. But like, I know people that do, and I have a decently high price point for people who do what I do, who are charging like 40 grand for like 3 months. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm not able to do that. And maybe that's like a flaw in me or whatever. I'm just not able to charge exorbitant prices like that.
That's so much. That's insane.
No, but it's happening all over. But I'm like, I just can't I don't care what lie I tell myself. I don't care if I'm working with a billionaire. I I d I need to be is that that's not and just saying no to anything that is not exorbitantly why?
Hmm.
How is that fulfilling? To me.
Yeah.
And again, like, I have to support myself, I have a mortgage, I etcetera. But just, like, what is my my motivation is to do work that's meaningful and fulfilling and to be able to, cover my mortgage, cover my car payments, da da da. But like, I don't know. That thing, is that bubble gonna burst?
I
I don't
don't
know.
th- I don't think that the pursuit of uh, if it's not wealth, it'll be something else because I think that like the human
It's human nature.
nature is to
Yeah.
do that. And some
Yes.
people are like that than others,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
and that's fine. I mean, it's not even like a bad thing. It's like whatever
No.
you achieve or reach for or is perfect for you, like
Yes. Yes.
with either side of those things, I don't think. I think it's just uh if the idea is that if you don't place value on those things, then you're left behind. Like I think that's kind of what we have now is like the demolition of the middle class makes it really hard to just want to have like a nice, cute life.
Yes.
It's
But I feel like that's coming back more,
like,
like people, right? Like are realizing the value of that.
yeah, and like it's funny because so many places that we drove through, like in America, you could tell are like they're not affluent, but they're not ghetto.
Yeah.
You know, I felt really
Yeah.
comfortable. I'm like, this is just kind of like a cute little suburb. Like it's
Gilmore
not,
Girls.
yeah, but it wasn't like some places are more rom-commy than others.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
Newport, like rom, but some places are just like sort of not cute. Like they're not really architecturally special. They're
Mm,
not really. They're just homes and stores but it's clean and it's not doesn't
yes. Yeah.
danger. And so it's like I do think that um I have a hope and a vision that we can have that where people can have just the ambition of having like a sweet life and it doesn't have to be up against the backdrop of people who want to make billions of dollars and therefore like they can't have their little life, or like
That's what that to me, that's it. Like that and that's probably why like movies from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s are so appealing because it's more about that.
yeah. Hi. Hey, I'm gonna lay him down.
Is it nap time?
Hey, he's nap time for this little guy. I gotta change. Hi, Sweesh. Another poop. Hi, baby dear. Hi, mom. He talks so much.
I can't.
It's so cute. Are you gonna put him down in the other room, babe? Or this one? Well, we can wrap up
Okay.
soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we can wrap up soon. We'll wrap in like 5:10. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna lay with the other room. Oh, okay. I'm gonna lay down right now. Okay.
And I am not I, I am I'm a capitalist. I'm a free market. I am not at all about forced redistribution. That's not my vibe. I am saying that for me, like, that's not what motivates me.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't need four houses. First of all, having a house is a pain in the ass to maintain. I'm good.
I know everyone's like,
I'm
I'm like, I do, and also, who do
going
you
to tell
call?
you,
Who's responsible for all this?
pain in the ass. I'm grateful for it, but I'm saying, like, I don't, it's not my orientation in this life. And I, uh,
That's good. Yes, baby.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. It's like I feel I fall somewhere in the middle where I'm like, I want it, but I don't want to have to place value on it, if that makes sense.
Well, that's like the dream situation, right? Like you
That's
write a
for
show that hits it and then you just, yeah, yeah. That's beautiful, right?
sure.
And that's beautiful. I'm not saying no to it. I'm saying that I'm not going to make decisions that are just about accumulation for accumulation's sake. That's what I'm saying.
Totally. So
I mean,
wait,
do I want a garage? Yeah, because Daniel has so many fucking tools. But and it'll happen at some point, I think.
tell tell our beautiful visitors here today, like one good takeaway for this astrological moment, because I feel like it's kind of a
Yeah.
big.
Knowing you can do hard things. It's like my workout teacher says every
I love
morning. You can do hard things. And, you know, we are in an extended liminal space really until February, to be honest, until February 13th is the Saturn Neptune conjunction in Aries,
That's
and then
crazy.
February 17th is the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius.
Okay.
So those two back to back, that's like a real energetic reset. So it's like not not grasping too tightly, seeing where there's these big seismic shifts, listening and being honest about where we're being moved to, and notice what stirs the heart
Yes.
into inspired action.
Yes, I feel that so much. Like the listening and noticing where we're being moved to is really
Mhm.
important. It's also separates us from a place of impatience into a place
Yes.
of patience, but also of like curiosity where it's like, yeah, where is this all going?
Aliveness. Like aliveness and wonder and yellow. I When I was in Spain, I was seeing um a lot of the clients that came in were Spanish, and I used the metaphor of yellow brick, and they didn't know Wizard of Oz, so they didn't know
Oh my
what
God.
what I was referring. I was like, "Do you know Wizard of Oz?" They're like, "No." I was like, "Okay, so this metaphor isn't going to work."
Falling flat, my bad.
It's totally falling flat, like completely. Right. But that brick by brick,
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
that Oz was in you the whole time.
And being okay with it being different than what it was before. Like I think
Yeah. That's
that
but and then there's grief there, maybe, but also revelation and maybe freedom.
Mhm,
It's okay to change course. It's okay to
mhm.
like new things. It's okay to be redirected. It's life.
When my friend and I were traveling, we kept getting lost, and so we were like, "What the fuck is going on?" And mostly because every single fucking stoplight is a roundabout, so we're just, like, very confused. And, anyways, our mantra became redirection perfection,
Amazing.
and it, like,
There you go.
literally made the trip so much better.
There you go.
And
Redirection
it
perfection.
and then we found new places, we, like, went off course, it became, like, a journey of discovery more than, like, a journey of destination. I think that's, like, what really is a big lesson just for life.
Oh, it's such a good metaphor.
Yeah.
That's why I
Redirection.
love road tripping, because then you're like, let's just pull off here and see this town.
Yep. And there's so many weird fucking towns, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
Like, I love it so much. And, like, then you find just, like, random awesome shit, and you're like, "What in the
What's
world
this?
is a cute grocer doing on the corner in fucking Arkansas?"
100%.
There. Alright, I'm gonna have to pop
Okay.
off.
Well,
But it's
love you.
glad we came
So we're
back. Glad
we're back. We're doing Mondays at this time.
let's do Mondays at 1. That feels
1 PST. Perfect.
definitely can do that for the next.
Few weeks until you leave for your birthday road trip.
I'm not leaving until Tuesday the 28th.
Okay.
But
The
we'll
next
skip
2.
my actual birthday on November 3rd, but then we can
Yeah.
come the next 3 weeks we can do like this.
Perfect.
Yay.
Love you.
Love
Okay,
you a
send
lot.
the dates. I love
Bye. Thanks everyone.